and I teach business ethics and compliance management. And I also leading this executive program. That's the 4th edition. With me, you have Vincent. Vincent Van Buren is also teaching. So Vincent, maybe you can introduce you briefly.
Yes, with pleasure, Carlos. So my name is Vincent Van Buren. I'm a compliance and ESG manager at GIMP. We are a leading Belgian listed private equity investment company. I have had the honor and pleasure to follow this program a couple of years ago. So that's how I got to know Carlos, and it was very useful for me for further improving my compliance career and practice. Last year I had also the honor and pleasure to join the program as one of the guest teachers. So that's in brief my introduction.
Okay, so what I suggest we do during this session is for 30 minutes, I will sort of introduce the program and go through it. If you have any questions, just write your questions, and Vincent will check these questions because I cannot see everything. If you have a pressing question, you can obviously ask it. And then we have time to discuss with you and answer any of the queries that you may have on this program. Is it okay for all of you?
Yeah. Yes, Carlos, I saw in the chat that there was one person who said can't hear you. I hear you very well, but maybe does everyone else hear us also very good? Yeah, okay, yes. Thank you.
Carlos, may I interrupt just a second?
Sure.
Just to let everybody know that this conference is recorded. So we will share it later, but I also would like you to know that since it's recorded, if you don't want to appear, I suggest that you turn off your camera, and then we won't see you on the recorded video. Thanks a lot. You can continue.
Okay, thank you very much. So here you have the introduction of this course. So basically with you, that's Carlos, it's on the left side and Vincent on the right side. It's the 4th session of this program, so quite happy to introduce it. What I like to cover with you is a bit on the learning outcomes, so what we try to teach during this program. Our teaching approach, the 6 pillars, because you have seen this program is built around 6 pillars, basically 6 2-day workshop. Give you a bit of practical info on the program, and then we have a session of question and answers where you will be most welcome to ask us any question that you have in mind. So basically, the learning of outcomes of what we try to learn during this program is to help you or help the participants to master the component of an integrity and compliance program. So how can you build an integrity and compliance program in your company? And so during this course, you have a lot of people who have done it, you know, and so they can teach you about how to do it, what will work, what didn't work, why, etc., in different type of business. Obviously, we want you to understand what are the key risks, so in building such a program, but also the success factors. So how can you build something that works? And we take a lot of examples and practical case to talk around that. Obviously, when you have an ethics and compliance program, you need to make sure that it works. So that's a big question. How can I be sure that my program is effective? And so we will talk also in this program about the control and the prevention mechanism that you can use to mitigate the risk that you have identified in your business. And finally, when the program is implemented, sorry, I just started already, so welcome to the new participants. We have a short session where I explain the program. We talk about how can I develop, you know, a monitoring mechanism to make sure that this ethics and compliance program do what it's supposed to do in the company. And so develop something to make sure it's effective. And it means also talking about audit. And finally, ethics and compliance, you know, it's a living field. There are new risks happening and coming all the time. So we want to learn how to create a learning loop to ensure the continuous improvement of the program. So that's what we aim to achieve during those sessions. Our teaching approach is basically, this is an inter-university program. So basically it's two universities will put their strengths together. One is the UCLouvain that you may know, and this is driven by the Louvain School of Management. And we have the Université Saint-Louis in Brussels that works on this program. So at the end of this program, you get basically a university certificate from both universities. Why do we do this sort of program? Is basically because it's completely fit in the mission of our school. So we have the business schools where we have also full day students doing the master programs with us. And really what we try to teach them is to be responsible managers, you know, and to work in a way that we promote always excellence and also ethics in our business. This program, I think, has an attraction. Is basically all the time we combine academics, but also practical experience. So each of us have built programs of ethics and compliance. For example, in my case, before becoming a professor, I have been for 6 years leading the ethics and compliance program of Royal Dutch Shell, the oil company.
Yeah, if I may maybe quickly interrupt there, Carlos. So indeed, having both followed the program and taught into the program, I can confirm that that is one of the biggest strengths of the program. That is how it combines academics and practical experience. And it adds a layer of also providing a good network opportunity to connect with fellow compliance professionals. I think we're all looking for sounding boards constantly throughout our practice. And that is one of the things you really can find here.
Thank you, Vincent. And basically what you see here is the name of people in companies that they've worked and are part of this program. You have the finance world, you have people from the oil and energy sectors, you have the VBO, Fédération des Entreprises Belges, you have also people working in Transparency International, and yeah, obviously people who are specialized in certain topics coming from law firms, well-known law firms like Ubelius and Johnson. And this year we have also decided to talk about you know, intelligence, artificial intelligence, and the impact on ethics and compliance. So that's why we have also someone from the Institute of Technology of Luxembourg, who was also previously a part of this program and now is extremely well versed in this field. So what we try to do is basically to provide you theoretical framework, what people know, what research gives us information, but also in the same time implementable tools. So basically when you go back home, you can think about your program, you can think about the new program you develop or the program you have in place, and you can have a fresh look on this program. And the other point is that we always take a restricted number of participants. So it means that what we want to have is really a lot of networking in the room, exchange of knowledge, develop contacts with professionals, and those professionals knows quite a lot. So depending on the interaction, we can go, you know, in certain parts of the topics which are really of interest for the people attending this program. The program is built in a way that we hope is really doable for people working. So it means that we have 6 workshops, and it's always 2 days workshop. And you know, it's one each month from September to December. Then you have an activity which is really a workshop with compliance officer, and there is a group work. And so we have 3 months before this workshop, so it gives time to reflect what you learned and to do it and look at the program of a real company in details and think about that. And the 6th workshop is a debate. Basically, you know, you get a university certificate, so you can elect to do a final paper, and then we have a debate, you know, with your final paper and a large number of professors of this certification that comes, and it's a very lively and exciting day, which lead then to the final certification of this program.
Yes, if I can make 3 small observations here, Carlos, I think first of all is on the 3rd pillar, sustainable culture. Sustainability is also a very important part of this program with people such as Valerie Swan and François Pelkes, who are very committed to sustainability, CSR, ESG. Also in my practice, I see a huge overlap between ESG and compliance. Compliance is a very big part of ESG, and ESG is becoming more and more important. So also that angle is more than sufficiently covered into the program. Into the workshop, so I'm myself a guest teacher in the 5th pillar, so where the students based on publicly available information assess the compliance approach of our company, where they present it, where they challenge me on it, and where I can give them also feedback and further detail based on what I have from inside the company. So there, I think what is very strong about it is that it's really a two-way direction. You give input to the students as a guest teacher, but I also receive valuable input from the students that I can take with me afterwards. And then the final paper and the debate, we had it, I think now 2 weeks ago, Carlos. We have seen, I think, about 6 presentations on 6 papers, very various topics, also international student population. So it was very interesting 2 days with very good discussions and debate. So it's also from an intellectual point of view very, very stimulating.
Thank you, Vincent. Yes, and I think the point that Vincent makes is important, because we believe, you know, that as ethics and compliance officer, you need to understand the strategy of your company, and basically you need to create, you know, a win-win. So the way you put your compliance in the company should be understood, you know, from the top management to the people on the floor, if you have people in plants, etc. And so you need to make a program with people understand, you know, the reason of this program, and that compliance has a sense, you know, it helps the company, and it, you know, create a value for the company. And so we very much believe into that, and we believe also that this compliance program should be really part of the culture and the sustainability direction that companies are taking. So that's something we hope, you know, to leverage with a compliance officer. A few practical info on the program itself. So you see the grid of the program with the topics which are covered. So each module, as you see, you know, is a 2-day module. So it's a Friday and a Saturday each time. And the first module, as you see, the 4 modules are taught on a monthly basis from September to December. And then we have the workshop sessions on the module 5 and the final paper on module 6. And then I always try to invite a guest speaker for the closing of the session of very high quality. So this year we had the Vice President Ethics of the World Bank, and next year we will talk about artificial intelligence, which I'm sure it's also a very topical issue and something that everyone, think about, how can my compliance program help to reduce, to mitigate the risk, that my company may take with artificial intelligence. Should I apply in my compliance program artificial intelligence? How can I apply it, etc.? So a lot of questions around those topics, which are really up to date and very important topical issues nowadays. A few information, for the workshop, the module 5. So we do it also, it's a teamwork. So it allows you to develop also relationship with a few people in your groups. And as Vincent explained to it, it's really also two-way discussion that we want to create, when we don't hide thoughts, or we can be in a very positive way, but also critical, share experience, do what we did, ask question to the compliance officer why he does that and why he think it works, etc., and have also a very frank discussion around that. And the module 6 is the paper. So the final paper is basically either linked to a personal challenge. So you can, think about what you learn about something you want to do in your company. Or you can take a topic if you are not working, or you're doing research, or you are consulting on something which is important nowadays. So we had, for example, a topic on the new European whistleblowing legislation, or tipping off, or etc., etc. So we can have also a topic on issues which are very topical for the industry that you then study a bit more, and then you get you are asked to produce a 30-page paper and give an oral presentation, which is really a debate that we have together at the end of this program. What you get from this program in terms of paper, basically you can participate to all the sessions and you will get a certificate of attendance from the university. Or you decide to also present the paper, which is at during the last session. You are always invited to attend the paper of your colleagues, but you can decide also fully to present the paper. And then you get the fully fledged university certificate from both universities. And so it's part of the European credit system. So it means that if you decide in the future to follow other studies, etc., you can always use that in any university in Europe. If you have a similar course in this program, it will be sort of recognized, and those credits will be credited to you in this case. So it's a fully accepted program. Some of you also asked me the question in the past, because you have mandatory education, continuous education is mandatory for a compliance officer, for example, in the financial systems. So basically, the LSM executive is accredited by the FSMA, which is in Belgium. There is the watchdog for the finance system, and we ask each year that our program get accredited by the FSMA, and it's in the process for this year. It's the 3 first edition have been accredited, and we are a training organization which is fully accredited by FSMA, so no doubt we will get once again this accreditation as we meet those criteria. And so it means that you can also value that as with the FSMA if you have mandatory education needed. Here is some contact details of people, but you find that also in the brochure of the course. You can find all those contacts. So you have my contacts, but you have also Professor Gaulier, Swan, and Girard that are from the different university and can be always contacted if you have specific questions to them. The training, normally we do a training face-to-face, so that's what we aim to do. As a year was a bit more difficult, so we had a number of sessions where we did like this session with distance learning. But most of this, we had the chance also to be able to conduct 3 of the workshop in face-to-face conditions, as we were between the issue. We do it in a large auditorium. We have enough space, and obviously we take into account all safety measures required in the current situation by the institution. The training happened on Friday and Saturdays. I mentioned it's training from 9 to 4 p.m. So we start 9 to 12. We have 1 hour lunch break. And then 1 to 4 p.m. We have the second session. And the room is a large room where we have a nice place to, and all the facilities to talk and teach, and also link to a place where we can have lunch with all groups in a separate place. So this is easy to organize. And here you have the picture of where is the university, for those who don't know Brussels. So it's really in the center of Brussels. It's easily accessible from any place, close to the rail station, but also close to the tube and a facility parking for those using private transport. And this is the end of my presentation. So I will stop here, and we are most happy to take any question that you may have. So here we are back. So please, you can open your mic if you want to ask a question, or write it if you prefer. And either Vincent or myself, we will be most happy to get. So you can switch on your mic, and we're happy to answer any question you may have. I put also on the screen the conversation, so you can also write your question if you prefer.
Hello, my name is Diego Rossu. I have a first question, very basic, is basically, is the attendance presence, is the presence mandatory for the Friday and Saturdays?
We prefer that you are in the room, indeed. Obviously, we had from time to time, because all the participants are busy executive, and so we have from time to time that you have a mandatory meeting, a Friday afternoon, a Friday morning or so. In this case, you let us know. All the information on the presentation are put on the system. So basically, when you register, you get a university email, and you get access to a platform where we put all the presentation of the speakers. So if you miss the presentation, you can always have access to this information, you know.
Yes, and in the year that I followed it, and in the past year where I taught it, we had participations from several nationalities and from several countries also. And since the last year, it is organized around those 6 contact moments of 2 days, enabling maximum active participation, physical participation. That was a bit the idea behind it. When I did it, it was I think every 2 weeks on a Friday evening and a Saturday, which was a bit more intensive, but also practical, a bit more difficult. So that's why we have concentrated everything now around those 6 contact moments of 2 days, enabling that you can be present in the classroom to enjoy the program.
Does it answer your question, Diego?
Yes, it does. Many
Okay.
thanks.
I see a question from Roland. Is it considered as congé de formation payé? I don't know. We have different type of participants. So either they have sort of an agreement with their employer, which give them the Friday free, but it's a an arrangement. We have that quite often, but I don't know if it's a congé de formation payé by itself. I know you can have some help from the French-speaking community, or in Brussels there is some allocations available, but it's what I know. And if you are self-employed, then people, you take your time and you come the Friday and Saturday.
Hi, Diego, again speaking. Another question, is there any specific requirements to join this training?
Yes, so we have a brochure, and so the brochure is available, and it was linked here, I think, or Fabien put it, but you can put it again. Basically, we ask the people to have either a master degree, or if you don't have a master degree, you can always enter your file and show that you have relevant experience. And what we suggest is at least 3 years of relevant experience in the field of ethics and compliance. So we take people with the professional experience as well. We have people coming from very diverse nationality, as Vincent mentioned. So we have various people and coming from Belgium, Luxembourg, north of France, and also Netherlands. Last year we had people coming. So because it's the way the format is convenient, for a person that wants to come for those 2 moments, from outside Belgium as well.
Yes, and the motivations of why people follow the programs are also obviously very, very diverse. I mean, I followed the program back in the days when I was, I think, about 1 year responsible for compliance, and I wanted to gain some further knowledge about it, and I found that with this program, and I would do it again if I would be in the same situation. But you also have people who are changing from a business function to a more compliance related function, who want to gain knowledge and experience. You have also people from the sustainability sector who need to include compliance audits, trails, processes into their job for certification purposes, for instance. So you have many diverse purposes why people have subscribed to this program.
Yeah, we had this year also people from international organization, public organization, because interestingly, the public sector now thinks that what is happening in the private sector may be of interest as well, and they look to how to build such programs.
This is Bert de Boer speaking. Good afternoon, everyone. Apart from the Saturdays and the Fridays each month, is there any indication that you can give us of additional work or time that we will need to spend on this apart from the 2 days? To have a little bit of an idea on what it really means.
Yeah. Shall I take this one first, Carlos?
Yeah, take it, Vincent, because you experienced it.
Yeah, indeed. No, so indeed, I think you have certainly in the beginning of the program where you focus really on content. You might have some preparatory reading to do for the sessions. That depends also on who's teaching and if they send you some reading material to prepare for in advance. If you go further into the program, you have, of course, the preparation for module 5, which are the reviews of compliance programs of existing companies, which is a teamwork. So where you have to coordinate a bit with your fellow team members on preparation of some content. There, I think it will depend on you will be joined in as a team. How many time this would require and how many effort. And then, of course, would you choose to do the paper? Then you, of course, have to spend some time and energy and effort into writing that paper. But it's a 30-page paper. If you also approach it from where you combine theory with practice, it has to have some academic degree with some reference or substantiation, academic substantiation substance. But it's perfectly manageable. At least I experienced it as perfectly manageable. And if you choose for the paper a topic that is really closely linked to your own practice, it's a win-win situation. You take time and energy, but you have also output that you can take further upon it later.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I just add on that the workshop work, I did it as well because I wanted to show the students how to do it, and so I did myself. So it's a work which took me around 10 hours time alone. So you're 3 or 4 to do it, but I always had feedback that it was really enriching because you work with 3 other compliance officer which may have a different background and view that you have. So this is something which is appreciated, and obviously the paper, as Vincent mentioned, takes a bit of time, but you can do it in a very win-win situation. Helder, you have a question?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Do we need a specific compliance experience? I've done government relations and law, but compliance is something that is not completely new, but is something newish. And also, what will be the working language for the certificate? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the first answer is English is the working language. So all the teaching is given in English. The first question you had was do you need to have experience? No, if you have a understanding of and taste for legislation, you can easily jump in this thing. And what we try also to learn is that in compliance you need more than just legislation. So you need also certain quality, around communication, about culture, about being able to formulate a strategy, about being able to sit with the chief executive and explain what it means, about talking also people in your organization at the more junior level and translating it in a way that makes sense, etc. So if you have those capability and basic skills, this is something you can use.
Yeah, I can only confirm what Carlos is saying. When I started the program, I had only 1 year of compliance related experience, so I was only getting into the topic for about a year. Before that, I just had finance and administration background and experience. So of course I worked in the context of a listed private equity company. So you are aware that compliance is something you have to take into account while doing your job. But the world of compliance really opened up when I did the program.
Personally, when I started to become compliance officer for the Royal Dutch Shell Group, I was vice president finance, so I was quite good in finance, and I could build systems. And I worked in many countries with Shell, to build finance groups, etc. But And I had faced in my life, you know, issue of corruption and human rights, etc. And really, but I had to learn how to put this together. So you can move. But it's also interesting because you're in a group where you have different level of experience. Some are very experimented, and that's create, I think, also a lot of traction for
yeah, and different backgrounds, different motives for doing a program. It creates really a stimulating environment. Yeah.
Other questions or questions that we didn't answer? Please don't hesitate. There is no stupid question. It's only us sometimes not able to answer, but we will let you know.
I think someone raised hands, but it's not speaking.
No,
I
it
think
says
it was
raised
Helder,
hands,
but
we answer.
Also, from my side, should you want to have any further questions that you want to ask on a one-to-one basis, please do not hesitate to reach out via LinkedIn, for instance. Happy to provide also specific answers.
Yeah. So we have resource for you to read. So we have this brochure that you can read. It's a 4-page and it summarizes a bit what I explained to you. We have also a website, so on the brochure you find a link to the website where you can find much more information about the teaching team and why they are motivated and all these things and how it's organized. So there's a lot of practical details. And there is also contact where you can contact the administration if you have specific questions, or you can also contact myself if you have more questions on the content, you know. The age profile we have in this course is quite broad, so we vary from relatively junior people from in the 30s to people in the 60s. So there is no age to start compliance and to have it in your systems. I see one hand is raised. Is it you, Fabien?
Yes, that's me. Before you wrap up this presentation, I just would like to thank you all for joining, to let you know that all the details Carlos just mentioned have been shared in the chat. And I have one last request. If you could maybe just take 5 seconds to write in the chat how did you hear about this info session. This will be very helpful for us to improve our communication. So just a few words, let us know, was it Facebook, LinkedIn, or an email, or whatever. Thanks a lot.
I see a question, I think, here from Antoine. Is the content focused mainly on policy review? This is a topic of inclusion of a new technology in the course. Yes, we have that, and we have also a number of professors of finance in this academic. So if they can explain you all the ins and outs of quantitative risk, etc., and how to do it during this session, and they can go quite far if some of you wants to do it. And don't forget, all the teaching team are passionate, so you can then contact them if you want EQUIS to go even further after the session.
Yeah,
so we don't finish at 4 p.m. You know, type of things. So we're still available if there are questions and work, or if you have dilemmas, or you think after when you are back in your company, how can I do it, and how can I link and this and that program? What is a good code of conduct, etc. That there are things, an example, and more stuff that we can share with you if it has not been covered fully.
Yeah, and in terms of the question on policy reviews, I think there are 2 angles. If you look at policy in terms of translating legislation into practice, there I think it's a very added value that, for instance, we have someone from VBO, so the Belgian organization of enterprises, more specifically the Secretary General, who is very close to the legislative agenda for corporations in Belgium, who is also involved into the program. And also someone as Jean-Marc Gollier, who is a lawyer at Ubedius, who is also very passionate about sustainability, by the way, and who had a past background with the financial regulator FSMA, is also very well informed on policy in terms of legislation translated into practice. In terms of corporate policies, there you see, I think in the module taught by Carlos, where the concept of a code of conduct and the building blocks of a good code of conduct are studied in detail. And that theory and that practice there can be applied immediately in module 5, where you can challenge the guest speakers of the companies where you study their compliance programs.
Good. Any remaining questions from someone in the room, or burning questions? Okay. The only things which I invite you to think about is, if you are interested by this program, is to try to register before the end of June. So we know about the number of people are interested by this program. And also, as we close at a certain stage, the number, because we want to keep the group, very pleasant to work with and very proactive, you can secure a seat in this program if you wish to join us.
How many people are typically in a program?
We had this year, we had accepted 16 persons, 16.
Yeah, so it's relatively small group.
No, a small group. You have almost as many teachers than participants if you look at the agenda. So it's it's the purpose. When I build this program, I really wanted that we have a lot of space for deep interaction.
Yeah.
So we can, people come and they can talk about their topics for 3 hours without problems, but that's not what we want. We want you to ask questions, and practical questions, and challenge, challenge us, because we have faced, difficult dilemmas in ethics and compliance, and we love to be challenged, and new are emerging, and we like to say, when we are academics, what happens, what have been researched, and practitioners want to say what was the experience also in difficult topics. So we this allows also the group to move very fast in the learning. And it's not like certain core lectures I give in the master degree, where unfortunately we have 120 participants, and that makes the interaction much more difficult. Here it's you as executive, you want to do it, you want to learn, and we are there to do it with you.
Yeah, indeed. Totally agree.
Okay. Good. So I wish really to thank you. Unfortunately, I had no time to meet each of you, but in more details, I'm sure you have a very interesting experience in your working life. So, but hopefully we meet in a few months together.
Yeah.
And the news are good. So really, we hope in September to have the face-to-face. So we're all the signals are positive for this 4th edition.
Yeah, indeed. Hoping to interact with you next year. And in the meantime, I wish you all a very pleasant and hopefully carefree summer.
Good. I will close here then. And thank you very much. And goodbye. And see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Carlos. Thanks, Vincent.
Pleasure. Goodbye.